Hey y'all, it's your favorite bipolar bee with a little lesson of life for today. So, if it is your first time tuning in to Bipolar Brilliance, stay tuned. I post about all kinds of stuff, but basically about how it is living with bipolar disorder. And yep, I'm cuddling a bee. So I have a thing. The bee is the thing today that ties it together. I have a story about bees. See, I used to be like deathly afraid of bees growing up. I think I learned it from some grown up in my life, because I think I was too young to even know. Anyway, I would just freak out when I saw a bee. And then, and when I got older and I got into recovery, it actually turned for me, partially because of a dream I had. And it became like a totem spirit animal insect for me. And the lesson of the bee, from what I'm laughing at all the kind of like, you know, double entendres here. But anyway, is to the lesson of the bee is to slow down and savor the sweet nectar in life, and to work hard but like beware of perfectionism. And so, because bees can be very meticulous, right? They are very exacting, and my God, those busy bees work so hard. Um, and then they create this amazing, amazing, sweet nectar. So that's the bee, right? We won't even get into the whole thing about the stingers. Anyway, so it's been almost a week since I posted, and I really want to be more consistent with like a schedule. And yet, I don't know. Just call me bipolar, but I have this like all or nothing thing. And not to feed into the stereotypes about bipolar disorder, but I really just kind of own this like I talk a lot about duality on this channel because I don't know, I'm a Libra, and like I've just always so identified with this push and pull and difficulty to balance things. So um like I don't know. I own that bipolar identity and probably run with it more than what it necessarily is. Anyway, so this came up today because um, the struggle is always ongoing and real in my life to try to have some sort of regular schedule. Like I am a mom, and I'm not that mom that's like, "Oh, well, from 12:30 to 2, my 2-year-old is napping, and at 6:15 we're eating dinner. At 7:30 it's bath. Then we have playtime for 45 minutes, and then bedtime. I mean, we aren't like completely out of all over the map. Not like when I was single, when I was drinking and everything all the time. My lord, I have more structure in my life than I did then, and I really do advocate for a regular sleep schedule. But so anyway, so I finally got myself to sit down and work on this spreadsheet that has been like, well, I guess really I only got the idea from somebody that I know and love that is just loves to do things in Excel, and I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. I've been meaning to capture like my family schedule, between the childcare and my work schedule, and then I decided to put my husband's schedule in there too, and I color coded it all, and then I started to get really like hyper focused I mean, I don't know. I didn't spend 18 hours on the spreadsheet, but I probably could have. If it weren't for it being a little after 10 p.m. and I know that it's time for my 2-year-old to go to bed. So, anyway, I'm like, okay, well, this is going to be good. I did all this work up front, and then I'm going to have this spreadsheet, and it's going to be great. Even though my schedule is not the same from day to day, maybe on a week and week out basis, or just, I don't know, having that. Anyway, so my child is just the light of my life, and such a sweetheart, and, put him into bed, and, then I went and it was fairly on time. I don't know. We're trying to get to like a 10 p.m. bedtime. I don't know. It's probably 10:30. It's okay. That's normal for us. I don't want a 2-year-old that wakes up at the butt crack of dawn anyway. So knock on wood, I'm okay with that. But 10 p.m. is the target. Didn't happen today. It's okay. It's Sunday. I take a shower, I get out, and I'm like, gosh, I think I'm just going to go to bed, like, early tonight, I could do that. I took my sleepy meds. I can do this. And then my kid says, Mama. I'm like, okay. I go to the outside of the door, say, c'est l'heure de se coucher, as I speak to him in French a lot. It's bedtime. It's time to go to bed. And like on a lot of nights, this is where like that instinct of parenting comes in. A lot of nights I would be just like, I would stay outside of the door and I would not come in. I would just say, it's time for bed. That's it. But honestly, I was really like just so honed in on my spreadsheet for the last hour of the night that I was, not very attentive. I'm, giving him food and he's feeding himself, and he's watching a thing, and I'm like, let's have a little quality time. So I walk in there, and he wants me to read him this Cars and Trucks book, and I'm like, no, I can't see. It's dark, and I don't want to read this. I said, I'll read you something from my memory. So I start reading what I remember of Bonsoir Lune, the night moon, and I have a pretty good memory for these books, so like I can recite a lot of his books. So I did it, more or less from memory. And then he says, again, and I'm like, I said, okay, I'll do one more, but you gotta settle in. And then I actually just started off with reading, like from memory, a different little French book that we have. And I ended up and it's talking about, like, it's called Bonne Nuit, and it's about, like, what they do before getting ready for bed. Je range mes affaires tout seul. I clean up all my stuff by myself, so on and so forth. And then I basically just started recounting, like, what we did for the last hour, and kind of rubbing his back, and he was getting relaxed, and I was getting relaxed. And I have a thing where I, like, I was trying to rhyme everything, and I'm fluent in French, but not like I am in English. I have the vocabulary of probably a teenager. I just ended up kind of improv, talking, rhyming in French, and I just had my hand rested on his back, and he fell asleep, and I ended on a rhyme, something about je te verrai dans le monde des rêves, et encore après que le soleil se lève, or something like that. I'll see you in the dream world, and then again, after the sun comes up, and it was like a meditative, beautiful little thing for me. And the whole point of that is it would not, and it was magical. C'était de la magique, un petit peu de magie, just a little bit of magic in the world. And it wouldn't have happened if I had been rigid about, well, 2200 is bedtime. It's on my spreadsheet. 2200, maybe 2230, okay? And it's like 2245. Okay, I've already had my shower. I'm gonna stay outside of the door and be like, no, c'est l'heure de se coucher. It's bedtime. That's it. You know, we're human. We're humans. I was gonna say we're human beings. When I got that first ultrasound, when I found out he was pregnant, it was a little thing shaped like this without the antenna, and all the appendages, except it was like, I mean, this big probably, right? And my husband said, "Oh, look, a real baby, or a real human being." It's a really special thing. You can't put those kinds of things in rows and columns. And so, I don't know how many people really are catching these videos, but it is actually my hope that it is beneficial to not just those that have bipolar disorder or other mental illnesses, but just, life. Like that idea of all or nothing, and being very rigid, or just throwing everything out the window. Like, I think that is a real struggle that all kinds of people deal with. I think I'm just grateful in a way to just like have this handy dandy label, and not like as a crutch, but sort of as like a lens to try to understand myself and the tendencies and the ways that I look at life. And so I guess the last thing I will say that kind of brings it together is a spiritual mentor of mine, sometimes known as a sponsor. When I did first kind of look back on my life, also known as personal inventory, advised me, be structured but not rigid, because that like all this person knows me very well, and it's like I kind of go from one extreme to the next. So I'm either just completely chaotic or I'm just too regimented. But life does not happen like that. We get too rigid. Not only do you miss out on those magical little moments of savoring the nectar of getting to improvise French poésie, la poésie française, to your little toddler in their room, and it has this magical effect, like a prayer and a meditation and calming on yourself as well, and just puts everything into perspective of what really matters and what is worth living in life, so you can miss out on that if you're totally nope, sorry, it's bedtime, we're done. Or you can be on the other side of shit and just be like, I don't know, just so out there and unbalanced. Let's just throw it in there, not properly taking meds or doing self-care, trying to self-medicate with alcohol and other drugs that just, I don't know about y'all, but they just didn't really do it correctly for me, even though I fooled myself into thinking they did for a while, and maybe they did for a while. Anyway, so point being, I mean, you can be just all over the freaking place, and then someone will just tune out because you've been going on for 15 minutes. So that being said, being structured but not rigid, and savoring the sweetness of life while still having a goal and working hard. That's my story today from the Bipolar Bee. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you'll share this with someone. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and let me know what you thought below. Have a great one. Take care of yourselves.